Over the last few years, my blogs have received millions of views and have earned me up to $8,000 per month. In most of those months, I've done absolutely no work at all. The income has been truly passive despite all the ups and downs in traffic. And now, in the last few months, AI is making that much easier. In this video, I will show you how I integrated AI into my already profitable blogging process and how I create content that ranks and earns me money consistently and easily. However, it's really easy to shoot yourself in the foot with these methods, so I recommend watching until the end, where we will discuss the most important caveats and what to watch out for when implementing these methods. Also, this video will show my entire process, but I will try to speed things up a little bit. If this video receives more than 10,000 views, I will do a more detailed video on this same exact topic. My strategy is to always create content that's helpful for the reader, work with them, cooperate with them, and that doesn't change one bit because of AI. I still recommend a lot of human touch in your content. Use AI to do the heavy lifting and the boring parts, but the most important parts, the thinking, the research, the header structure, the intro, the selling points, the empathy, all of that is still a job for us, the humans. Those few human parts are about 20% of the process, but they have 80% of the impact, so I recommend you do them yourself. We start with the keyword. For this demo, I've selected the keyword "What is brittle leather?" since this particular blog kind of went into the wallets niche and it started to cover a lot of leather wallets. It started getting some traction there as well, so we're just looking for some lower competition informational keywords we can cover. The keyword is also the URL slug as well. Next is probably the most strategic part of the entire process, and that's the headers and the header structure. We get ideas for the headers from a few different places. It's best to gather as many ideas for potential headers as possible and then see which ones are the most relevant. Since ChatGPT came out, I found that it does a really nice job of suggesting header ideas. Just type in a prompt like "I'm writing an article on the topic what is brittle leather" or your keyword here. Please provide relevant ideas for headers and subheaders and organize them by relevancy. I'm using ChatGPT 4 here. You can also use the 3.5 version. It's also gonna do a good enough job. ChatGPT 4 is a bit slower, so it took a little more time, but now we have a lot of ideas here. Let's copy these, and I like to paste them in a text editor and just go over them, see which ones make sense, because not all of them are gonna be good. So for example, historical context of brittle leather, have like a few headers here that I don't think will be a good fit for this article. We're gonna remove those. Characteristics of brittle leather, that's good. We have some nice subheaders there. The tanning process, okay, we can leave that there. Common uses, that's excellent. Benefits, that's really good. Comparing brittle leather to other leathers, awesome. ChatGPT did a really nice job here caring for brittle leather products that can stay. Ethical and sustainable considerations, okay, that might be good, but we don't want this article to be super long, and we can cut this one out. Conclusion, we're probably gonna do that ourselves. Let's see what we have here so far. So that's already a lot of headers. However, it's nice to get a few more ideas if we can and build a bigger set of potential headers. Maybe we can extract a little bit more from the rest of the process here. Before ChatGPT, I used to start by Googling the keyword and then looking at the people also ask section. If there's a question that would make sense as a header, I take note of it. For example, is brittle leather better? That's pretty good. What is the quality of brittle leather? That can go as well. Is brittle leather stiff? What is the difference between brittle and saddle leather? I'm gonna copy all of these actually because they do make some sense. And then what I like to do is expand on the ones that make sense. So in this case, it was the first 4. And Google is gonna offer a few more suggestions here. So we continue from number 5. Is brittle leather real leather? That's good. What is the best or worst leather? Maybe we don't need that one for this particular article. Let's just paste this here and expand this as well so that we get more suggestions. How long does brittle leather last? That's good. We can use that one definitely. Can brittle leather get wet? Perfect. All of these are definitely gonna be headers in our article. What is the best leather come from? I don't think we need that one. What is the difference between Horween and brittle leather? Okay, we can use this one as well. So I'm just taking note of all the possible headers here. What is the toughest letter for a jacket? See, I'm not gonna use this one because the blog for now is still mostly about gadgets and wallets. We don't really want to get into jackets, so I'm just gonna leave that one. What thickness is brittle leather? And let's expand these. Let's see what else we have here. Saddle, Horseback, Gucci. What is the common fake leather? What makes the best brittle leather? Okay, as we go down, the relevancy seems to decline. I don't see any other good hitters here. We already have enough, so that's enough for the people also ask section. You can also check at the bottom of the Google search results. It often has some good ideas in the related searches section, although lately I don't see as much good suggestions here. Is brittle leather full grain? This one might be good. Let's see if I can grab it here. And the other ones, yeah, they don't seem so relevant. We're just gonna leave them for now. I also like to use the alphabet soup method. You simply enter the keyword in the search bar like we just did before and hit the space bar. Google Autosuggest will now give you a few potential expanded searches, some of which might make sense as hitter. What is brittle leather used for? That's great. I think we already have that one, so let me just check. Oh, we don't have it. Great. What is brittle leather used for? And currently I don't see any other good suggestions here, but if you're strapped for ideas, I suggest going with the method itself, which is you just start entering the letters of the alphabet here. So, and you go one by one. So A, I don't see suggestions here. B, nothing good really. C, not really anything. Definition, maybe we could use definition. So what is brittle leather definition? I'm not gonna do this right now because we already have enough suggestions, enough header ideas, but if you don't have enough, you can always resort to this. After that, I usually check out the Google Keyword Planner tool. This is a free tool that will give you related queries, some of which might be useful as headers. Let's see what we get here. We currently don't have anything, but we can see the search volume for this phrase, which is quite nice. Between 100 and 1000 searches, that's gonna be pretty good if we can rank for this keyword. Finally, another critical step is to check the hitters from the competition. I usually check the first 3 to 5 competitors, depending on how many hitters I need. Since we already have a lot of ideas so far, I'm just gonna do the first 3. The SEO Meta and one-click browser extension can be pretty useful here. You just go to the header section. For some reason, this article doesn't seem to have any existing headers, and the headers in here don't really seem very relevant. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with Google lately. I keep seeing like confusing results like this. Small, like really not that useful articles. You can see this one doesn't even have like an SSL certificate. I think they are in some sort of a crisis. The search results are not really great lately, but maybe we can grab something from here. Oh, I see they're using like images for the headers for some reason. Maybe they don't want to be scraped or anything. Anyway, the headers here are kind of like descriptive. We don't usually do that. Let's proceed with the other competitors here. This one is more about English brittle leather. That's probably not what we're gonna do in this article, so we're just gonna skip this one as well. And here we have, well, we already got this one, what is brittle leather used for, so we're not gonna take it. Background, what brittle leather was first used for. Okay, we're not gonna go down this route. I'm not really sure what's wrong with this keyword. Let's see if we can check out the other competitors here and see if they have like more typical hitters. I think Google are in some sort of a crisis. Either that or they're like completely mad geniuses and the top results are really answering people's queries. But yeah, for example, is brittle leather strong? Maybe we have something similar, but I'm just gonna grab this as well. Are brittle and harness leather the same thing? Do we have harness here? Really? Okay. Let's get that one as well. And let's see what the final competitor has. Cookies. What is the English? Again. Okay, maybe we're gonna have to do another article on English brittle leather. For now, maybe we can do like a section on English brittle leather. I don't see anything other that's really good here. And that pretty much concludes the part where we research the competitor hitters. We just look for ideas from the content that's already ranking. Now, this is the important part. It's time to use our human brain here. We need to organize all of these hitters into a coherent, logical, useful structure. Do this right, and your article will rank and bring traffic in probably 60 or 70% of the time. As you can see, we already inherited some of the structure suggested by ChatGPT. I think it has some use. I kind of like to do this. The H2s don't really have any indentation. The H3s kind of belong in their hierarchy, so I just do a little indentation for them. Let's check out what else we can do with the other hitters. So we're probably gonna change these a little bit. I like to start with the first keyword, the first H2 hitter being exactly the keyword we're targeting. So what is brittle leather? And then maybe we can do something like how is brittle leather made? This can be an H3 and these can be H4s actually. You see, I'm always going for a hierarchical structure. Everything should be logically ordered. Common uses of brittle leather. I think this one is actually much better. What is brittle leather used for? And that replaces that one. Benefits. Maybe we can do like brittle leather benefits. Correct the casing there. Brittle leather, I like to do this like this. Brittle leather versus other leathers. Full grain, chrome tint, price, quality, and sustainability factors. This doesn't really belong here. So you can see ChatGPT can kind of make mistakes as well. This is why you're an invaluable part of the process here. You need to take care of all of this. You need to keep your eyes open. Caring for brittle leather products seems good. Cleaning and conditioning tips for ensuring longevity. Okay, that one can stay. Is brittle leather better, let's say, than other leathers? And this can actually go under this section here. I'm just gonna try and see if I can position the extra hitters we have inside of the hierarchy we already have. What is the quality of brittle leathers? So this one can maybe go in characteristics. That looks good. Is brittle leather stiff? Yeah, that one can also go here as well. I think I'm gonna remove that one. Importance of understanding leather types. Okay, that one can stay. Maybe not exactly there. Let me think about it. Actually, we're gonna remove that. We already have a lot of hitters. English brittle leather, so this can probably go somewhere here. I'm not still exactly sure because I don't really know a lot about the leathers, but it seems like another type of brittle leather. Maybe we can have like brittle leather types and see what we come up with later. What is the difference between brittle and saddle? This one can go in the versus section where we discuss the differences. Is brittle leather real leather? I think this one can go right under quality. So this is going to be an H3 and this is going to be an H4. Is brittle leather full grain? This one can also go here. Can brittle leather get, how long does brittle leather last? This one is also under quality, I guess. Can brittle leather get wet? Yeah, this is also characteristics. I'm probably going to put this right around here. What thickness is brittle leather? This is probably above stiffness. Is brittle leather strong? Yeah, let's include that. Looks good. I guess we should fix some of these casings here. I just do regular casings for the hitters. The title is usually camel case, but all of the other stuff is just normal spilling. The tanning process. We're just gonna do tanning process here. Vegetable tanning. This is good enough like this. Oils and waxes. I'm just gonna make them a little bit more user-friendly and readable. Distinctive features from the tanning process. Okay, that can stay. What is brittle leather used for? Western equipment, luxury goods and fashion, leather craft and iron. And we're gonna include the wallets because that's our niche, that's our blog, that's what our blog is for, so it's good to have that as well. And from that section, we can probably link to other articles on the blog. Okay, this looks pretty good. We have a lot of headers. This is going to be a pretty long article. It's going to rank for a lot of different keywords. Now, one little caveat here. As I mentioned, I'm not sure what's going on with Google lately. The last few updates have brought some really strange changes. Some really short articles from unauthoritative blogs seem to rank on the top positions. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. Some of them don't even have the proper headers. They don't really answer a lot of the questions. Even the top results don't have SSL certificates. Something weird is going on. Hope they fix that. But my approach, which is still working pretty well, is to create detailed, informative, helpful articles. And this is the structure for that. What we did here is exactly the structure for that kind of article. This is going to rank, this is going to get some traffic, and it's a good way to go about creating AI content. Now let's go over this one more time and see if we can maybe cut out some of these, because honestly, this is going to be too long based on what we saw in the previous articles. They were quite short. For some reason, Google probably doesn't want too long articles on this keyword. We're just going to cut out some of these. So these one can stay. They're probably going to be like a few sentences each. Benefits, that's pretty good. What is it used for? How is it made? Yeah, this looks pretty good. Characteristics, what is Brittle Letter? Okay, perfect. I think this is going to be really good. It's going to be a structured article. Let's translate these into headers in WordPress. I'm just going to grab these one by one, enter them in WordPress, and actually I'm going to make them headers right away. Let's speed up this whole thing. You don't have to see me do this. There we go. This is all good and done. I just came up with one more idea that I think it's going to be a good way to end this article, and that's going to be a header titled When to Go for Brittle Leather. This is going to be a great way to recommend some products down the line, and the header structure is done. Now, one more time. I recommend going for relevancy and usefulness first and thoroughness second. This just happens to be a really long article. I don't have a problem with that because this is going to rank for a lot of keywords. But for other keywords that are not as big as this one, that don't have the potential to be full guides such as this one, because this is essentially going to be a full guide, in that case, I recommend going for shorter, more relevant articles. It's now time to write the content. Of course, we will use ChatGPT for that. This is probably the most important part of this entire guide, and that's how you prompt ChatGPT. It's really important to get this right. This is how I usually do it. I start a new chat and prompt it like this. You are a professional blogger and SEO expert working for me. You will help me write articles for my blog. I will provide you with the topic we're writing about. After that, I will provide you with each of the subheaders one by one, and you will write the content for each of those sections. You will remember what you're writing about the whole time and not repeat the same information in different sections. The article needs to have a natural flow. There should be no duplication. This is very important. When writing about a topic, the content should have a high NLP saliency score for that topic. You will use natural language. You will use a friendly and semi-professional tone, like you're trying to do a helpful recommendation to an acquaintance. You will sound specific and determined. You will write in short, simple sentences at the 5th grade reading level. Be succinct. This is very important. You will write short paragraphs with 1 or 3 sentences in each paragraph. This is very important. You will include as much data and research about the topic or the current subheader as possible. You will include many examples, stories, analogies, and illustrations when relevant to the topic or the subheader we're working on. Whenever it makes sense, you will format the content in a list or table form. Do you understand? And that's my secret sauce. There's a lot to unpack there. Let's get into each of the most important things. I like to start with the topic first. The topic for the article is what is Brittle Leather, and immediately give it the first subheader as well, which is identical. Please give me 2 or 3 sentences for it. Okay, it started with certainly. I think I prompted it wrong here. I'm going to ignore that first word. Brittle leather is a premium type of leather known for its exceptional durability and distinctive characteristics. It's crafted using a traditional vegetable tanning process which involves treating the letter with natural tannins derived from plants. Okay, good. We have our opening 3 sentences here. We're gonna paste this immediately here. Now, the second H2 header, it involves a lot of subheaders, so we're just gonna read this ourselves. This is gonna be one sentence that's gonna be like, these are the main characteristics of brittle leather. And we're gonna proceed with this subheader here. Okay, please write 3 sentences on this subheader. Can't type today. The quality of brittle leather is exceptional and revered among leather enthusiasts. This is great. It starts with the quality of brittle leather. This will have a high NLP saliency score, which is very good for SEO. This is all really good content. And guess what? This is what we're gonna continue doing. Please write 2 sentences on the subheader. It starts with yes. I really hate it when this happens because this is not really good content for ranking in the Google featured snippets. I just make it whole like this. This is a wholesome answer. It can stand on its own. Brittle leather is a type of genuine leather that undergoes a specific vegetable tanning process. Okay, and guess what? We're just gonna keep doing this for the rest of the article. So I'm almost halfway there. I'm going section by section. As you can see, I try to evaluate how long each section should be. How is brittle leather made? This is probably going to rank for a few other keywords as well, so I asked for ChatGPT to write a bit longer content here. The other subheaders usually have 1 or 2 sentences, maybe a bit more, and I'm going to ask it to write a bit more in here as well, write 2 paragraphs about tanning process. And as this is writing, I'm quickly checking everything. I'm quickly scanning through this to see if there's nothing crazy. I mean, I'm not an expert on this subject, I'm not really familiar with this at all, but I can spot like something that's insanely crazy. Like if something's really off, I can get it fixed immediately. And that's what's gonna separate you from the other AI bloggers. Yeah, looks good. Basically, the more important I believe a subject to be, the more text I want for it, the less important it is. I don't really need that much text on it. And I just decided something on the spot here. So instead of having all of these subheaders here, which are probably not going to help this article since we're in the wallets niche, I just decided to have a few paragraphs under this header. I think this is going to be good. And it's going to speed up the process a little bit. Let's see how many words we have so far, because I don't really want to overdo this. 1,391 words. We already have a lot of words here. Maybe we can cut some of these out. Maybe this is going to be an entirely new article. Maybe a bullet point here. Yeah, I'm going to show you what we're going to do there. Caring for brittle leather. We're just going to cut out some of these subheaders. Okay, this is what we're going to do. A short bullet list on brittle leather benefits. And this is pretty good. Yeah, this can all go. Brittle leather versus other leathers. We can go with a bullet list in here as well. Right. A short bullet list on. So these are the benefits. I guess brittle leather benefits and other leathers benefits. Caring for brittle leather products. Well, maybe we can do this as a list as well. Right. Bullet point list. Nice. This is pretty good. We're going to grab this and just going to paste here directly. And in the end, we're going to end with a strong 2 paragraphs, right? 2 short paragraphs on when to go for brittle leather. There we go. We have bullet lists. We have simple paragraphs, short sentences. This is a really good article. Okay, why did I do it like this? Why did I choose to do each of the sections separately? Well, 2 main reasons. One, if you try to do the entire article in one prompt, which is what most people are trying to do, you will often find that it doesn't end up looking too good. Maybe it's hurrying to finish it in one prompt, or it's starting to make mistakes. When you give it clear, focused subheaders, it can do a much better, much more precise job on them. 2, and even more important, you can now quickly scan through all of the results and fix any mistakes on the spot. Remember, we're using AI to do the heavy lifting here, but this is where you have an advantage over all the other bloggers. So I'm just gonna check these lists one more time. I'm just gonna quickly scan over them. Again, I'm not an expert here. I'm just looking for something that's completely insane. Because, ChatGPT can sometimes get out of line here. These look pretty good. As you can see, I'm not really spending a ton of time here. Yeah, this looks pretty good. And that's basically my process here. So, I'm using AI for the heavy lifting, but this is where you have an advantage over the million other AI bloggers who just blindly copy and paste garbage and never really make it in the long term. You don't have to obsess over this, but quickly check every section to make sure there's not something crazy in there. We are eliminating the laborious process of writing. Now all we have to do is a quick check. Don't be lazy. Trust me, this will pay off. The rest of the prompt that I entered at the beginning, it's more about the writing style and the SEO. You can adjust that to your writing style if you want, but I think that the short and simple sentences and paragraphs are super important. Talking about your experiences and opinions is also critical in the day and age of AI, since that's what will separate you from the generic AI content that will probably soon flood the internet. Again, spend some time on this as well. If you're an expert on the topic, don't be afraid to roll up your sleeves and add a few sentences. That's the stuff that will help your content stand out. I found that it takes me 10 minutes to get the writing part done for a 2,000-word article. I recommend doing the intro yourself. I'm just gonna write a really quick intro here because I usually don't see ChatGPT doing a good job here. I like to open with the keyword itself if possible, or put it as close to the top as I can. One classic approach that seems to work quite nicely lately is, if you're wondering what is brittle leather, you've come to the most complete guide on that topic on the internet. We will cover everything there is to know about brittle leather, and that's pretty much it. That's enough. So I use the exact same keyword near the top. I think this gives you bonus points still in this day and age. This is gonna also score high on the NLP saliency score. I'm not exactly sure how important that is, but I think I've seen some results with this strategy. After you're done with the writing, just copy the entire article and paste it into ChatGPT, asking to write a meta description for it. Go back here and let's just say, write me an SEO optimized meta description for the article. I told what is brittle leather, and the content of the article is the following. I'm not sure this is gonna fit in here. Let's see. Awesome. So it got the meta description as well. We're just gonna paste it in the Yoast section. I believe it was right over here. Awesome. Perfect. I recommend doing the internal links yourself. Simply link out to all of your existing articles from the sections of the new article that make the most sense. There is a way to have ChatGPT do this for you, but I think it doesn't always do a good job. And this is one of the most important aspects of your blog, so spend the 2 minutes required to get it done right. For example, this is a blog about wallets. I'm just gonna see what titles I have here. Best long minimalist wallets, wallet types. Images alone deserve an entirely different video, and we'll get to that as well. For now, pick a few tactics from the following. If possible, take the pictures yourself or use original images. This is the best way, but it's not always feasible. If you're writing about something digital, like an online tool, take screenshots. If you're writing about products, use product images from the brands and resize and edit them so that they are original images. Use screenshots from videos. Create graphs, charts, diagrams, flowcharts, infographics, and illustrations. You can use tools like Adobe for pretty much anything, Canva for infographics and even other awesome graphics, Lucidcharts for flowcharts, and even Excel for charts and graphs, especially if your article includes data. Stock images are a somewhat good option, although I use them as a last resort because they won't be original content. You can maybe use other people's images, but I would ask for their permission first. I generally avoid this. And of course, this wouldn't be an AI SEO guide if we don't mention AI-generated images. Midjourney and other similar tools definitely deserve a separate guide. That one is coming soon. Simply ask Midjourney for the image you need, and maybe even ask it to make it a bit amateurish so that it looks like it was taken with a regular phone by a regular person. That increases authenticity, which increases trust. What remains for us to do is add some schema. I already have mine prepared over here. Set the correct post category. Maybe you can add a little bit of intrigue or extra detail to the title, like what nobody tells you. Something to add a bit more intrigue. And then it's time for the moment of glory. Hit the publish button and let the world rejoice for yet another glorious blog post article on the internet. There we go. After that, add internal links from your other articles to your new article. I usually search for the keyword here or just type brittle leather and see if other articles on my blog mention this. Maybe we have it here. Let's see. Brittle leather. Awesome. I'm gonna edit this post immediately and add an internal link from my other post to this post in particular. So we're gonna start interlinking. This is very important, in fact. I only briefly explained this, but you should spend a lot of time here. And by a lot of time, I probably mean like 5 to 10 minutes. So make sure your new article links out to a lot of your existing articles and your existing articles link back to your new article. This is super important for AI content, like critical. Let's see what we had here. So this is brittle leather. Let's just quickly, awesome. And now it's time to go and feel good about yourself for a few moments. You've earned it. Your new blog post is done. Okay, now it's time for the caveats and the things you should know about before trying this at home. First of all, you may have noticed that I didn't spend a lot of time researching the competition. That's because I didn't really do that a lot in the past, and now I think there's even less need for that because you're probably gonna cover the entire niche anyway. In the past, what I mostly did was check the word counts and the headers of the competition just so that I know how much I need to work. Right now, I think that's not even that necessary. You just do all of the headers. Don't really worry about the word count. In fact, try to do shorter, more succinct, more clear articles, and you're gonna eventually win as well. At least that's what's working for me right now. Also, in the past, we kinda used to avoid keywords that were too competitive. Right now, I don't think there's a need for that. You're eventually gonna write everything. You should cover your entire niche, even if some of the keywords are technically too difficult for you and your blog is newer and less authoritative. Because guess what? Those articles are still gonna get traffic. Maybe not a ton of traffic from search, but from your internal links, the menu links and all of that, you're gonna get some traffic in there and they're gonna be pretty lucrative. Also, chances are you've probably seen other AI SEO and blogging guides on the internet so far. There are a ton of them. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with learning from multiple sources. I'm just showing you what's working for me. I've seen some of the other guides as well. They do some pretty cool things, no doubt about it, and maybe I've learned a trick or two from them. But for the most part, I haven't really seen anyone doing this on a large scale, like really being successful, really making thousands of dollars year over year, consistently, all the time. So I'm kind of skeptical of a lot of them. Some of them are really good. I recommend you learn from as many sources as possible. I'm just showing you what's working for me. That said, I should let you know that my blogs were successful before AI even became a serious thing. This is definitely something you should be aware of. Most of my blogs were somewhat authoritative and they were ranking and earning me money before creating content with ChatGPT was a popular thing. I will use the strategy I showed you in this video to train my new team members, and we're probably gonna adapt almost entirely to it for our new blogs in the future. But all of my existing blogs so far have had the advantage of being established before AI arrived on the scene. That said, again, I've been adding AI content to a lot of them and it seems to be doing pretty well. Now, whether that will continue to be the case remains to be seen. In the first few months after ChatGPT got released, most bloggers, including myself, were kind of apprehensive and skeptical to try it out. We kind of waited and wanted to see what's going to happen first. For a very long time before ChatGPT, Google itself was very openly against AI-generated content, and that was the case for a really long time. They considered this content to be of low quality, and they sometimes even penalized blogs that use this type of content. However, after a few months of the AI revolution, Google don't really seem to mind AI content. They've even changed their terms. They're okay with some AI-generated content, I guess, and the question always remains if there's anything they can do about it. It's entirely possible that they don't really have the option to detect AI-generated content. Maybe it's easy for them to catch the bloggers who are doing 40 articles every 5 minutes. That's kind of obvious. But if you're being a little bit more subtle, if you're using AI content like I showed you in this guide, interspersed with a lot of human intervention, then you should be safe in the future updates. So that's pretty much my entire process and how I use AI in blogging and SEO. Keep in mind that I've been doing this for quite some time. I am a little bit experienced, but if you were my friend and you asked me how should I go about SEO in the upcoming years, this is what I would recommend to you. My entire process is here for you guys. I'm probably gonna do a more detailed video. This is probably gonna be a shorter, quicker video just to get going some of you guys. If you have questions, let me know in the comments. That was my entire process, how I pay my bills, how I keep this whole pirate ship operation going. Hope you liked it. If you did, like and subscribe, and I will see you in another video.